So, how do you feel about your feelings? This was kind of the issue that was coming up last week. I was going to move on to talk more about wisdom, but we're going to put that off a little bit. And we're going to go back to this kind of fundamental notion of what are feelings? Where do they come from? Why do we have them? What do we do with them? So, I want to start with the recognition that one of the essential tasks that we take on in infancy is to develop a sense of ourselves as separate from the world around us. That capacity to form a separate self-sense is something that arises throughout our early life. In the womb, we're connected to mom. We are mom. We're part of mom. We don't know that there's something separate. We get born and it's chaos. And all this stuff is going on and we're trying to make sense of it. And one of the things that happens, for example, is that we start growing teeth and it hurts and so I want to figure out what I can do to end the pain. And I find that if I bite down on my teething ring, it relieves the pain. But if I bite down on my thumb hurts. Oh, my thumb, that's a part of me. Teething ring is not a part of me. There's self, there's not self. And at the point at which we're making this distinction between self and not self, what we do is we create a space that is a relationship. Relationship's really important. This is another thing that was coming up last Sunday, is the importance of relationships and our capacity to construct healthy relationships as a mechanism for our own healing. This is how we heal our traumas, is by being in healthy relationships. So within the context of this relationship that we construct, because now we've got this notion that we're separate. I'm not you. You're not me. Now, as we mature, we recognize that we are not as separate as we thought we were, but it's a really helpful fiction to form an I am, to form an ego. Lots of schools of spiritual development would say, oh, you need to get rid of your ego. You are not going to get rid of your ego. You need your ego. You can't go to the grocery store without an ego. You got to have one. But it's important that you know that it's something you have. It's not who you are fundamentally. We don't understand that as kids. We just know that this is who I am, and therefore there's an other, and therefore there's a relationship. And within that relationship, certain qualities arise. We get what we need, we don't get what we need, we're scared, we're happy, and you know, you remember being around little kids, they can go through emotions just like that. The emotions that are arising within us as we're in relationship with the relationship are in some sense a resonance with the qualities that are present within the relationship. If this relationship is actually safe, do I feel safe? If it's actually dangerous, do I feel fear? And we learn to be able to correlate our interior state with what's actually happening in the world, or at least that's what we're trying to do. This is our interior state, our feelings are what gives us evidence of data about what's actually happening in the world. It's very important for us to be able to access our feelings, or else we don't know how to relate to the world. Some people are just so overwhelmed by their emotions as they arise in their relationships with others that they shut it down. They can't, I don't want to hear what you're saying, which is one of the features of autism. It seems that folks who are autistic don't have a capacity to kind of tune down the intensity of their emotions as they are evoked by what's happening in the relationships with others. But we want to be able to know what it is that we're feeling so that we know what is actually happening in the relationship. From time to time, we will notice, though, that something's happening in the relationship which would normally cause a particular emotional response, and it's not there. I'm not feeling it. What's going on with me that I don't have the capacity to feel that feeling, or I'm not feeling that feeling now? Sometimes something happens in the relationship, and it's objectively a pretty small thing, but our feelings are really big. Oh man, this is overwhelming. It's like running around with my hair on fire. So part of what we're looking for is the capacity to know that the emotions that are arising within me are resonating with what's actually happening in the world in a way that's proportional to what's actually happening. Okay, so feelings are simply whatever's going on inside of me, inside of you, inside of any of us, that others don't know until we in some way act that lets them know what's going on with us. And there are many different kinds of feelings, kind of a catalog of feelings. Deepak Chopra has, I think, 10 different interior states that are feelings. And I don't remember what they all are, and I don't think they are all equally important. I would suggest that we focus for the moment on what I consider to be the central ones. Is at the basic physical level, we have sensations. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm tired. We have emotions. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm angry. We have thoughts. Wait a minute, thoughts? Thoughts aren't feelings. Thoughts are an interior experience. And we talk about them as feelings. I feel like I'm being mistreated. That's a judgment, that's a thought. But we use feelings to say it. Wishes, I feel like getting an ice cream cone. So sensations, thoughts, emotions, wishes. And if you want to kind of put these together in a kind of helpful mnemonic, when you're stewing about something, S-T-E-W, what are your sensations, thoughts, emotions, and wishes? That's not the order they naturally arise in, but it doesn't matter. It helps you remember them. Being able to know what we're stewing about, to be able to look inside and to know our own interior, is really essential for being able to respond in a resilient manner to whatever it is that's arising. So I want to know what my feelings are, and I want to be able to feel them in proportion to the actual thing that's happening. In large part because that's really good data. It's going to help me know what it is that's actually happening. But another feature of emotions, of feelings, of any kind of feeling, but particularly emotions, is that it's not only data, it's also energy. If you think about the kind of energetic quality of any particular feeling, or that I'm overwhelmed with some emotion and so I go through some kind of energetic discharge, like laughing, crying, yawning. There's all kinds of ways in which we can discharge that emotion, that energy. Ideally, what we want to be able to do with that energy is to address the situation that actually causes or evokes that emotion. I'm resonating with something that's happening. Can I use the energy of the feeling to move me, to motivate me, to propel me into actually addressing what the problem is? That gets problematic for many of us around the whole question of anger, because typically when we're angry, we do things we don't want to do, so therefore we're going to try to not be angry. But I'm angry because somebody's making a choice that hurts me. And or at least I'm perceiving that. That's my perception is that others are choosing, or someone, maybe I'm mad at me, that I'm making a choice that hurts me. Which will take us into making a distinction between hurt and harm, which is one of the things we talked about. But this video is going to get too long if I don't stop at some place. So we're going to just pause it here, but these are important issues for us to address, and we're going to come back to them Sunday evening. I hope you're able to join us.